G'day, my name is Kev. My aim is to help people build and maintain ponds and water features without spending a fortune. If that sounds like something that interests you, please consider subscribing and check out my website, ozponds.com. Today I wanted to talk about alternatives to Aquablox. Anyone who's interested in ponds and water features has spent many hours watching the awesome content that the team at Aquascape puts out. So you probably already have some knowledge of what an aquablock is, how it's used in pondless streams, wetland filters, intake bays, rainwater harvesting systems, and negative edges. And if you're like me, you watch all these videos and you get super excited. But then you see the price tag on some of the components and the bubble bursts. For example, a single aquablock here in Australia costs $40. And that's even more in some other countries. But the good news is, even for those of us who are budget savvy, some might say frugal, some might even say tight asses, we can still achieve a lovely water oasis without breaking the bank. So with that said, today let's look at the alternatives to aquablocks. An aquablock is a water storage matrix. It has a void space in the centre, but it's strong enough to have large rocks placed on top. So rather than filling up the entire wetland filter, pondless reservoir or intake bay with rock and gravel, you can use the blocks. These blocks will hold 3 times more water than the void spaces between just rocks. But do you really need them? For wetland or bog filters, I would say probably not. For intake bays, not at all. But for negative edges and pondless water storage, yes, or at least some of the alternatives. The reason I say they're not needed in a bog or wetland filter is that they aren't really needed if you design it a little bit different. In this pond I have 2 decent sized bogs or wetland filters and an intake bay that houses 3 pumps. I didn't use any aquablocks. The bog filter still has a clean out port like the Aquascape snorkel, but it's a $10 olive barrel. And for the centipede, I have some drainage pipe used in septic systems. It cost me around $20 at the big green hardware store here in Australia. I'm sure there are similar products available no matter where you live. The walls of the filter can be sloped inward to the drainage pipe so that the system can easily be backflushed. It's the rock and the gravel providing surface area for beneficial bacteria and microbes that filter the water. Some might argue that the blocks help disperse the water evenly, but it still needs to move up through the 60 centimetres of rock and pebble. And that's just the same as mine does. If it's going to get clogged, it's going to get clogged, with or without the blocks. Just make sure you give the system a flush once a year and I don't see any problems. So then we have the intake bay, where again, I don't think the blocks are a necessity. The great pond professor Ed Ballou teaches us that the storage capacity for an intake bay should be 1 minute of the pumping volume. So again, I've used the olive barrels, this time as pump vaults, and then the drainage pipe to create a void space for the pumps to draw water from. Then it's all covered in rock and pebble. And it just blends into the landscape. I love intake bays. Not only am I getting the mechanical filter action of pulling all the leaves, dust, etc. into one place for removal, but by drawing the water down through the gravel adds more biological filtration and protects the pumps from larger particles. And again, the lids on the barrels provide easy access for maintenance. Just like the bog or wetland filter, this can easily be drained and flushed out. But if you're looking to create a pondless stream or a negative edge pond, I think you really should create as much void space as possible to maximise your water storage. So there is an identical product to Aquablox that is actually half the price. I really don't think it takes a genius to work out that they are most likely the same product and have been rebranded. These are the dimensions of the small aquablock. Looks identical to the dimensions of a mini Atlantic flow tank. These are the dimensions of a large aquablock. Looks the same as the Atlantic flow tank single. In fact, Aquablox can also be bought as double and triples. And yep, you guessed it, the dimensions match up again. But what's really amazing is that these flow tanks can be purchased at half the price of an Aquablox. If you were creating a negative edge system with 100 blocks, you've just saved yourself $2,000. But it still pays to shop around. As I was looking, there are other manufacturers that produce water storage matrix blocks. I've just purchased 10 of these Enviro modules for a future pondless project. They were only $7 more than the flow tank minis, and I get an extra 30 litres per block. Even more important to me is that they are manufactured locally. So the size is comparable to the large aqua block, but it's $30 cheaper. Winner winner, chicken dinner. So I would check out what water matrix blocks are available in your area. Atlantic, who makes the flow tanks, which I suspect is also the aqua block, have warehouses all over the globe, so you're bound to be able to pick them up wherever you live. And if you really want to go cheap, you could explore your options with heavy-duty plastic pallets or milk crates. If you've done that, I would love to hear from you how much you spent and how it all turned out. I hope this video has helped some people save some money, and if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, and I'll catch you next time. See ya.